haven for animal faces is that the disease are very easy to spread due to the unhygienic condition of the old furniture and toys in the shelter, as you can see. So we are trying to replace those furniture with more sustainable ones. We want to design a cat swing hanging from their wooden ceiling to replace the old cat trees. As you guys can see, that the cat trees are big, old, dirty, and hard to move around. Volunteers are having a hard time cleaning these cat trees as they're too big. The design of our cat swing will free up floor space so that volunteers could sweep the floor underneath it easily and they wouldn't have to worry about moving it around. The material we are using for the cat swing itself is also easier to clean and is expected to last longer than the carpet-like material that covers the cat trees. Going back to when we first started building our prototype, we tried testing the cleanliness of this rattanwood basket first with ketchup to see how easy it is to clean in case cats puke or pee in it. As you can see, it is not easy to wipe off the ketchup that's being poured inside the basket. On the outside, it's leaking through, so this could be a bad choice. On the other hand, the metal basket is way easier to clean as the food stains can easily be taken off the surface of the material. Next, we tested out the materials that would support our basket by taking a sharp object and sabotaging it. As you can see, we observed that the metal chain was sturdy and strong as no damage was given when we scratched it with a knife. On the other hand, the nylon rope can easily deteriorate from scratches, and we thought that cats' likeliness to scratch on objects could damage the rope and make it fall. And here is the assembly of the materials that we decided on.
For our prototype, we drew out the design to make sure the calculations were accurate and we were able to visually represent it for later on. And then we took the wood and we measured it out to make sure they were decent height for our design, as well as our basket and the chains to make sure everything was there and all the materials were accurate. We measured out the pieces of wood to make sure the hanger would fit, as well as putting the pieces together to see the design before we put it together permanently, and then we put it together with screws to make sure it would be there and sturdy. Then we made holes for the hooks to make sure they were equal distance from each other, as one was put from the center and the other two distances were measured out. And then this was the part where we measured the height from the ground, which was a foot, and we did that by rechanging the length of the chains, cutting the chains, making sure those were good. And the final structure of the chains was made like this because the top angular part made sure it did not tip too much forward or too much back, as well as the back part did not swing too much, and the sides were there to make sure it did not tip again. So we don't want cats falling out of the basket or falling too far back. You can see this minimize the swinging after throwing in the bag.
After we assembled our final prototype, we brought it into the shelter to do some environmental testings. The first problem we encountered was unfamiliar design. This was because the cats were exposed to the design for the first time. Thus, we need to familiarize the cats to the design by testing the prototype in the shelter more.
We encountered the second problem when the cat was trying to jump on the swing. The swing hit the back of our frame. Later on with our rear model, we need to figure out how to position the swing so it doesn't hit the wall or anything nearby. The third problem was that there was too much of a swinging motion, which would then cause the noise of the chains to be too loud and the cats to run away, which wasn't the safest.
For our next steps, we will continue to remain in contact with our community partner to ask opinions on what they think about our project and what needs to be improved. Other further steps we would be taking is to figure out how to solve the problems that we identified after implementing our final prototype to the shelter. Finally, we are going to try to implement the real model of our project into the shelter eventually in the coming future.